was massive pent up demand, which was just sitting on the fences, which just wanted to find its way in. And the fact that that demand is still holding strong. Of course, ETFs go through their cycles of bouts of selling, etc. But net over the course of time, right? ETFs on the Bitcoin side and ETFs on the ETH side, including the DATs, right? They've been able to shore up in a very short period of time a significant portion of free float supply. This goes to show you.
रिश्ते में तो हम तुम्हारे बाप होते हैं.
LFG.
All right, बाप ऑफ क्रिप्टो पॉडकास्ट नंबर 10 10वें पॉडकास्ट पे आ गए हैं हमारे साथ भाइयों और बहनों नरकुंडी क्रिप्टो डैडी रियलिस्ट और गुरुजी आज वापस आ गए कंसेक्यूटिव डे पे. गुरुजी आप कैसे हैं?
वाह
थोड़ा थका
कुणाल
हटी हुई है, but I'm very pumped to talk about trades.
You don't sound very pumped, bro.
Yeah. इसका कंप्यूटर भी थोड़ा वैसा है.
इसका कंप्यूटर भी इसी की तरह laid back हो गया.
So very exciting day in the market for you, bro. Alts are running. Alt season is here. Have we missed the boat? Have we missed the bottom? क्या तू वो क्यों नहीं हो रहा है? This is the time that you should go in.
But he's perma bear right now, so he is
sorry.
Yeah, he's bit bearish now.
He's bit bearish. So for him, it's not a good sign.
दुखी भी लग रहा है बेचारा, पता नहीं क्या हो गया इसके साथ आज. Anyway,
इसके साथ वो होगा, ये हम लोग को bear बोल रहा होगा, and then playing the long market and then gotten liquidated.
Yes, ठीक है.
बोल रहा हूँ पीनट के पीछे गया होगा फिर से. Okay,
let me share my screen.
He's revenge trading peanut.
He's like jelly ने पंप मारा है, peanut भी पंप मारेगा.
हाँ, ये तो करेगा ही करेगा. Next is peanut.
Narkundi, I'm sharing my screen. Yes, ये क्या हो रहा है?
Don't worry, it's all under control ना. Side वाले टैब में जाना. तू StreamYard क्यों दिखा रहा है हम लोग को?
ये vortex है क्या?
Yeah, we really need to learn how to share screens.
भाई तू
I am on the side tab.
ओ भाई.
ओ दादाजी.
या अल्लाह.
Yes.
When you're sharing screen,
once more. Yes.
I should be charging for editing all this, you know. तुम लोग को पाकिस्तानी $10 जैसे दिखाना है, इसका स्क्रीन शेयर कराना है, क्या करूं मैं?
All right, sharing screen now.
Okay, attempt 2.
Whoa. All right, आज की ताज़ा खबरें. सबसे पहले BTC dominance has gone down a little bit, dipped below 60%. वैसे तो मेरे ख्याल में this is just like 2-3 day event. वापस से dominance will go up, but तुम क्या कहते हो, boys?
इससे स्टार्ट कर रहा हूँ.
ऐसे ही बस जनरली पूछ रहा हूँ, कोई अपना एक व्यू दे दो.
Honestly speaking, to be honest, मेरे हिसाब से alts are just facing a weekend pump. I don't think this is a move. I don't think it's just anticipation. Also, there is a lot of news going around कि maybe वो US market open हो जाएगी, government open हो जाएगी. So all those news are moving around. So that is what might be pushing the alt market a little up. But when we say कि alt market up and BTC dominance down, and look at the actual numbers. I mean, BTC कहाँ से 60 से कितना गिर के कितना नीचे गिरा? I mean, what is it right now? 58, 59?
Below 59.8.
Exactly. I mean, that's like what 0.20% that has gone down. And if you look at the odds that are rallying, how much have they really rallied? I mean, they're still at their pretty much lowest. वहाँ से वो 5-10%, 20% भागे हैं. They haven't really rallied as such. So you don't call this a rally.
Yeah. So your alt BTC pairs also like saw like a big move on the upside. मैं ये दो चीजें इसलिए दिखा रहा हूँ आज क्योंकि मैं 3-4 दिन से बोल रहा हूँ कि और रियलिस्ट भी बोल रहा है कि डोमिनेंस ऊपर जाएगा और ऑल्ट बीटीसी पेयर्स नीचे जाएंगे. सो आई जस्ट डोंट थिंक दिस इज जस्ट लाइक आई थिंक दिस इज अ लिक्विडिटी ग्रैब, बट बोला था इसलिए दिखा दिया. न्यूज़ में और क्या चल रहा है? गूगल पार्टनर्स विद पॉली मार्केट टू इंटीग्रेट डायरेक्टली इनटू देयर सर्च. दैट इज लाइक अ बिग न्यूज़. Polymarket,
Yeah.
yes.
Huge one.
Even I know, dude. CNBC or हर जगह इसको they pay a lot
Bro,
of heat to it now.
to be honest, I'm seeing a lot of liquidity flow into poly markets recently. Like
Yeah.
एक जमाने में, like the sort of tweets I'm looking on X right now, तुम अगर उनको देख, उनकी जो quality देखो and the way people are basically analyzing the bets on poly market looks very 2016 crypto marketish, right? Like, you know, there are people are like, you can take a bet 10 into 20, you can take here 80-20, you can take it there, and you know they have poly market वो एक और दूसरा वो betting वो है ना, I think it's
Kalshi.
what Calci, yeah. So you take one side off on poly market, the other side on Calci, and sort of place your bets accordingly. Proper mathematical analysis on them. So it looks very 2016 crypto era on how poly market is moving.
Yes.
So the alt
also
season is
becoming-
happening on poly market.
Yes. it's happening everywhere else except for the alt market.
Yeah.
एक और चीज है पॉली मार्केट का ना, इट्स बिकमिंग पार्ट ऑफ कल्चर. लाइक एक उस पे पोजीशन है कि क्या था उसका, विल जीसस कम बैक बिफोर GTA 6.
Yeah,
GTA
with
6.
GTA 6.
50%
Yeah,
है.
yeah. And it had, and Jesus coming back had a higher probability than GTA 6.
Yes,
Yeah.
50% क्रॉस हो चुका है. So
It just shows
ये होता है
that
बुल.
people love to gamble. That's it. कि सबके सब जुआ ही
Exactly.
है.
Exactly.
It's not gambling,
Everybody
it's
loves to
prediction.
gamble. Yes,
Yeah.
that's true.
एक और
That's
बहुत
true.
फनी चीज हुई. सैम ऑल्टमैन का एक कॉन्फ्रेंस में बैठा हुआ था और स्टेज पे आके किसी ने उसको सबीना दे दिया. इट गॉट और उस पे फिर पॉली मार्केट पे आ गया कि सैम ऑल्टमैन जेल कब तक जाएगा. तो जून पे अभी 3% है और दिसंबर पे 2% है.
Oh,
फिर आज एक खतरनाक रूमर चालू हुई कि डीफाई ट्रेसर, वो ट्रेसर और डीफाई ट्रेसर नहीं है, और एक दो लोगों ने स्टार्ट करी कि फेड इज लाइक होस्टिंग लाइक एन इमरजेंसी सॉर्ट ऑफ मीटिंग टुडे और दे गोना डू
Oh
लाइक
yeah, that was fake, right?
फेक न्यूज़. तो
Yeah, I mean, like it's so easy. I mean, I was
Yeah.
looking at that the moment it came out, people were anyway sort of asking Grok to verify, right? In the reply section. So
Mhm.
yeah, ठीक है.
that got sort of
न्यूयॉर्क,
debunked then. So none of this. So people are saying that. So like people say, right? You find me the chart, and so you show me the chart, I'll find you the news. So
Yeah.
people are trying to justify this sudden surge. So they are saying that it's because of this fake rumor, right? It's
Yeah,
not because of that.
yeah.
This pump started way before that.
Yeah, और
Yeah,
This is all bull crap.
रोज एक
And
कोई
it's not a pump.
न्यूज़
I
आती
keep
है.
saying it's not a pump. It's just a small move, bro.
इसे लिक्विडिटी ग्रैब, तो फिर उसके बाद वापस
Yeah,
नहीं.
exactly. That's what it is. It's not a pump.
ठीक है. न्यूयॉर्क फेड प्रेसिडेंट ने बोला कि दे एक्सपेक्ट टू स्टार्ट क्यूई सून. तो ऑब्वियसली पॉवेल ने नहीं बोला है, बट दे यानी पिछले उनके स्टेटमेंट में था कि देयर वर लॉट ऑफ डिसेंटिंग वॉइसेस ड्यूरिंग द लास्ट फेड मीटिंग. सो
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I'm
Yeah,
guessing
they were
कि
not. They had disagreements on the rate cut amounts as well too.
पावेल का टेन्योर कब खत्म हो रहा है? 2026 में मई.
April or
new
May
आ रहा है.
2026, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
And does the president appoint the Fed next Fed governor, or
No.
is it
I-
like some sort of putting
I
process?
don't
it's
think
the
so.
board
No,
that chooses.
it's the board that selects it. Yeah.
Yeah, so
President doesn't have
बोर्ड में
power.
अगर अपने आदमी बैठाएगा then obviously फिर easy हो जाता है.
Already एक आध दो
वो
तो बैठा दिया
तो
उसने
उसने
शायद.
बिठाए हुए हैं. Yeah, वो तो उसने बिठाए हुए हैं. I mean, that is what's happening. They keep pushing for higher rate cuts and stuff. तो वो they बैठे हुए हैं, but we don't know कि वो कितना push करेंगे आगे. At least for chairman position, we don't know.
Yeah. Just another one. वो एक ट्रेडर नहीं था जो पहले like insider बोल रहे थे बार बार बैरन ट्रम्प की उसके पे फोटो डाल रहे थे. So he ended up with like a 30 million loss, right? So now
Yeah.
he's come back and he's opened a short on Zcash. Let's see if he. I don't
He
think
actually opened a short on ETH also. I was looking at somewhere that it's not just Zcash. He actually opened a massive short on ETH as well.
Which person did this?
There was this insider who took a trade.
Oh,
There
okay,
were
got it.
insiders who took a trade right before the announcement जब crash हुआ था last time. So he's one of those people.
Right. Because there was this other, I think this other Chinese trader who had taken it, who got liquidated. He, I think, shorted Zcash at 250. Got wiped out.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got wiped out. Then he opened another short at I think about 600 odd.
Yeah.
And yeah, so let's see what happens to that.
This guy is-
to that.
But
Yeah.
from my understanding, I don't think Zcash is a token that you short right now. The way the momentum is building on it, I don't think You shorted now, but that's my
This,
So
opinion.
no,
this,
no, no. You actually, but we need the shorters. You need the shorters because the more people
yeah,
short, the more
it'll
Yeah.
go.
upward momentum it gathers, right?
Yeah. All right. आज हम बात कर रहे हैं ETFs के बारे में, and obviously, like ever since the start of this cycle, there has been a lot of talk about ETFs.
Yeah,
जब BTC का ETF आया था, so there was this huge sort of euphoria in the market कि it'll just, there'll be so much liquidity coming in that it'll take the market like to new levels. All season आ जाएगा, ये आ जाएगा. But we haven't like really discussed about ETFs, what ETFs are, and how do they work. And obviously, I remember Realist you telling me कि when the gold ETF came initially, it like constituted like a 7-8 year, or I don't know kitne year ka bull run. It resulted in like
yeah.
decade of a bull run or something. So
Mhm.
let's just start
Yes.
with ETFs. Realist, we'll start with you. Ki, just like what are ETFs? The historical sort of uh, thing about ETFs in the equity markets, and how are they going to affect the crypto markets, and that sort of thing.
Uh, so if you go by historical trend, something that we've seen is that, and the most recent example that we have is obviously the gold ETF because that sort of happened in sort of recent terms. If you look at it in the financial market history, and post that we did see a huge flurry of capital which sort of uh, found its way into gold as an asset class, as an investment class. Because if you look at gold, right, it's hard to sort of own and keep safe, get insurance, etc. ETFs just becomes an easy way to sort of gain exposure to it because it tracks the price of gold. And the person who has issued the ETF is required to have an equivalent amount of gold held in a custodian. It's his headache on how he ends up securing it, etc. And it's just easy access to the asset class. So because of that, we saw this huge sort of rise, which was sort of a decadal rise in the price of gold, and it saw me. That was one of the major sort of bull runs that gold had seen. Uh, if we were to extrapolate that to what we are seeing right now, right? There's a fundamental difference between the two, but I kind of feel it's going to eventually play out in a very similar way because what has the ETF proven, right? What the ETF sort of proved is the fact that there was a massive amount of demand, right, uh, in the non-crypto world for crypto assets, right? Because I remember when the Bitcoin ETFs launched, they were netting somewhere between like $5 to $10 million a day, even, right? All ETFs combined, right? So that goes to show that there was massive pent up demand, which was just sitting on the fences, which just wanted to find its way in. And the fact that that demand is still holding strong. Of course, ETFs go through their cycles of bouts of selling, etc. But net over the course of time, right? ETFs on the Bitcoin side and ETFs on the ETH side, including the DATs, right? They've been able to shore up in a very short period of time a significant portion of free float supply. This goes to show the amount of pent up demand. Now, what's happening on the BTC side is that why aren't we seeing that kind of speculative rally happen immediately? Is because, like we discussed earlier, Bitcoin is going through its IPO moment, right? Which basically means new hands are coming in, old hands are dumping, right? I wouldn't call it dump, that's a strong word to use. Old hands are sort of offloading, and they're rightfully offloading, right? Because they've held through the last 15 years. They deserve and they've earned this rightful exit. Let me use the word, they've earned this exit for themselves. The fact that Bitcoin today has become this exciting asset class and it's positioned itself as an asset class. We're seeing it with dominance. It's literally carrying the crypto market forward, right? It's because of a Bitcoin that a Sergey Nazarov is sitting inside the White House or sitting with the president and is propagating the future prospects of a chain link, right? It's because of Bitcoin that all of this has been made possible. So, having said that, this change of hands is happening, which is why we are seeing this strong as people would call it, this accumulation distribution cylinder, right? So we are in the accumulation cylinder right now, which is why that, and we saw that with gold as well. It's not that the gold ETF launched and everything sort of started rallying immediately, right? So there was this period of accumulation that probably even gold ETF sort of went through. But a fundamental difference between that and this is there was nobody offloading gold once the ETFs came in, right? Because gold has always been this asset class which central banks have wanted, right? Even today, I think central bank buying is probably at some of the highest. We're probably sitting at 25% of all balance sheets of all central banks today is gold, right? So it is a very different phenomena which is happening. But one thing that the ETFs have made very, very clear, and the DATs have made very, very clear, is that there is massive amount of money which was sitting on the outside, which wanted to find its way inside, and that is what the ETFs have shown. So everyone who was waiting for industry validation, everybody who was waiting for adoption, right? Everyone who was waiting for this large scale money to find its way into crypto, which makes it into a mature asset class, which is basically that $10 trillion asset class, which it needs to sort of break through. All those ingredients have been set, and that's where we're headed. So that's where we are headed. It's inevitable. So let me put it this way: it's inevitable. That's where we are headed. It's just that things are not happening as per timelines of CT. So CT is a little jittery and scared, but that's where we are headed. It's inevitable. So that's what, and this has happened with BTC. So BTC has done its IPO. ETH is doing its IPO. Next is going to be Solana. And if slowly and steadily, you will find every serious token or crypto protocol or project align itself with normie capital, right? Which is this off-chain capital. And they will align their protocols in a way so that they can raise capital from that. That's going to be the future. So the next meta for all of these serious companies is going to be how do we get in normie capital and how do we get more and more
get the Wall Street money in, basically.
Absolutely, and and let me put it this way: it's not a matter of if, it is just a matter of when. It's happening, and that is what the ETFs have shown in Bitcoin.
So एक बात बता कि obviously all this जो normie capital आ रहा है, so is it like the big institutions and the big players buying it, या even like normal people are buying it through banks, if banks are like offering ETFs as a product?
Two ways of looking at it, because we are also seeing a lot of DATs being set up, which are essentially companies which are like ETHZilla for example, right? So companies which institutions are setting up just to purchase crypto. We are seeing normal sort of normal public listed companies now owning crypto assets on their balance sheet. That is basically shareholder capital that they're using, right? So in a way, normies are sort of allowing them to do it in a way, right? Indirectly. And firstly, we often usually see this, that first the adoption comes from institutions, right? Once that stamp of approval is given by these institutions, normal people also start flocking in. And it's just going to happen. Like, for example, a Robinhood makes that possible, and a moonshot makes that possible, right? So all of these things are making it possible for other people to come in. It's just that it's going to go through its threshold period where more and more institutions adopt this. And I mean, if we are essentially referring to institutions as normies as well, because they are non-crypto folks essentially, but that ripple effect from institution to retail is inevitable. It's inevitable. This is becoming a $10 trillion asset class. That's it. Period. It's not a question of if. Previously, it was a question of if. Now it's not.
Guys, ये reverse भी हो रहा है, because Robinhood पे you can buy IBIT, BlackRock का ETF.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So Robinhood and Moonshot both are making this possible. So it is happening. This is the $10 trillion asset class is what you're paying for today.
And now,
bro, for me, I have
लोग treasury में add कर रहे हैं.
Not just that, bro. मैं बता रहा हूँ कि यहाँ पे, so I have had discussions with my private banks, not just my private banks, but also the normal savings account that I have, right? Unme bhi, where I was basically buying some bonds, or I was buying something with them for a little equity. So the relationship managers have started pushing BTC ETF. You could invest in this also, and this is at a very, very retail level. I mean, this is what you say the retail. when we talk about
Yeah.
average user getting in, right? And so if banks have started offering that right now, I mean, yes, maybe he offered me because he knows कि मेरा background crypto से है, so I could relate to that product and I was an easy sell, right? But the point is that at this point in time, if he's selling it to me, eventually will come a time when he'll be selling it to all his clients.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true. अच्छा, नरकुंडी यार, तू एनालिस्ट हैट पहन ले तेरा और टकला छुपा ले, सबसे पहली बात तो.
अरे मैं फेडोरा
एंड yes, yeah, give us a little bit of analysis about these ETFs, like कौन ऑफर कर रहा है और इनफ्लोज आउटफ्लोज क्या हो रहे हैं.
Okay, so first we'll overcome the challenge of screen sharing. रुक जा. Now, once you can see Dune wala screen, then let me know.
Dune.
Dune
Okay.
का dashboard दिख रहा है?
नहीं.
नहीं.
Of course.
Of course नहीं दिख रहा होगा.
Of course नहीं दिख
Yes,
रहा है.
अब आ गया.
Technology.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
So this guy is called Hildobby. He does data at Dragonfly Ventures. So he compiles a lot of cool dashboards, and obviously among other things, जिसने ETFs पे भी compile किया है. So Realist ने जो बातें बोली अभी उसका काफी interesting चीजें हुई हैं, because start looking at यहाँ पे at ये जो purple share दिख रहा है जो slide होते
Yes.
जा रहा है.
Yes.
This 100% monopoly थी GBTC पे, grayscale वालों की.
Basically.
This was offered in 2013 to their private accredited investors. उनके लिए था बस. They could just trade GBTC shares at OTC prices. उनको जितना मन मर है. So it's not that कि BTC की प्राइस इतनी है. Ideally, BTC की प्राइस जितनी पंप हो रही है उतना GBTC की प्राइस पंप हो रही है. But it was left up to them कि premium decide करो and share करो. Then 2015 में they started offering it to all investors कि fine, go ahead, GBTC list कर दिया लोग ने, trade करो. Now look at the black bar, which is BlackRock का main. ये जो last year से start हुआ है, they are starting to eat up market share. And you asked about like main कौन है? BlackRock is already at almost 60% of
Wow.
Bitcoin ETF share. Fidelity 15%. Grayscale has 13%. And Grayscale lost customers because their expense ratio for the GBTC ETF was at 1.5%. And BlackRock and others were offering at 0.25 to even 0.20 also, दूसरों के केस में. So they lost a lot of market share इस चक्कर में. That's one. Second, look at the speed at which Bitcoin का ETF climb हुआ है. So this is where start हुआ 2024 में. Now look at November. As soon as Trump के आने का हुआ, almost 50% rise हो गया ETF holdings. From 66 bill to almost 100 bill touch हुआ in just 1 month. So that was like obviously everyone being euphoric कि okay, Trump आ रहा है and this. फिर उसके बाद डिप हो गया जब टैरिफ्स का आया सिनेरियो फरवरी मार्च में. बट अगेन उसके बाद फिर लाइक S&P रिकवर हुआ, बट ETFs continuously have climbed. And main thing is that I think it's been the fastest ETF to cross 100 billion, like 7 months के अंदर it crossed. So if you are in BTC, this is my ideal scenario कि look at the bigger picture, zoom out and see how much money is already come in. And third point एक था जो Bitwise का CIO है, Matt Hogan is called. So he talks about creating an index investing strategy in crypto, similar to how you'd have in S&P, Wu के Vanguard के shares, whatever. So he's talking about कि compared to gold ETF, and the analogy he gives is that when has physical advertising, once digital advertising came in, has physical offline advertising overtaken its share from digital? Nope. If you look at DVDs versus streaming, like once Netflix, has that happened? No. For BTC as an asset class, once it's crossed more than trillion, and now it's like 2.5-3 trillion, the chance of that going to zero is very, very minuscule. So if you compare that to gold's value, in long term, it could be a 10x from here. So I think it's extremely bullish. Only thing that's needed among everyone on this call and others is patience.
And time frame. कि you have to see it
Yes.
on a larger time frame.
Yes,
अब
yes.
Yeah,
See,
छोटे
yeah, you
time
have to
frames.
zoom out.
this
Yeah.
is zoom out, like this is happening as we speak, and the narrative is changing. Media में change हो रहा है. BlackRock, Wall Street का stamp आ गया, like how Realist said. That's it. It's going to go to institutions. It's going to go to the private banking clients. It's going to go to retail, pensions, uh, whoever, and obviously digital asset treasuries. And say काफी pump हुआ है, but it's happening as we speak. So don't look at week to week. Look at months. Look at years, and you should be bullish looking at these numbers.
सही है। टोनी एक बात बता, ये ईटीएफ्स का, आई नो यू वर लाइक इनिशियली जब ये ईटीएफ्स लॉन्च हो रहे थे तू ट्रेड कर रहा था, देयर वाज दिस, आई गुरुजी इज ड्रॉप्ड ऑफ द कॉल, आई डोंट नो व्हाई, बट
Starlink नहीं चल रहा है.
तो बट ये रिमेम्बर कि इनिशियली ही वाज ब्रिंगिंग कि जब भी ईटीएफ में 3 दिन इनफ्लो आता है उसके बाद 2 दिन आउटफ्लो
Yes.
आता है, उस हिसाब से ट्रेड और ये हो.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
remember those days.
yeah, you remember those days.
Bro,
So
all
मैं
of these things work
yeah.
for 5 days, and then you
So,
lose one day and
and
you
then it
lose
takes a
everything
hit.
that you made of the
Exactly,
past 4 days.
exactly,
Correct.
Yeah,
exactly.
so what I was
Full
getting
crap.
at, like, have you seen any effect on prices, or are you like, क्या बोलते हैं कि do you see inflows and outflows, and do you factor that into your trades when you trade daily?
So if I'm trading daily, no, I don't factor inflows and outflows, because for me, inflows and outflows basically, yes, they move the market. I agree, okay, but we've had this discussion earlier also कि जो ETFs का inflow and outflow है compared to the actual BTC's market cap and the sort of volumes that happen throughout the day, they don't really move the needles as much as you would assume that they are doing, right? Because you BTC पे जो movement majority चलती है वो जो इनके OG whales हैं, they also trade up and down, ठीक है, and the movement is happening majorly because of those guys. And ETF, if you look at ETF inflows, I personally, I'm not trading BTC too much on leverage, right? I usually trade alts. BTC का जो major effect आया था ETF के बाद, and a lot of people had this thought कि यार अगर वो April, I think February, March, April 2024 was the ETF approval, right? And people were like, as soon as ETF gets approved, BTC is going to rally like a bitch, and we're going to make a lot of money. And what happened exactly as soon as ETF got launched, we saw 2 months of extreme downtrend on BTC. Right?
Yeah.
Because in reality, what happened was it was sell the news event. So the market pumped from December 2023, January 2023, it went up all the way till I think February or March or whatever it was, right?
Yeah.
And literally a week after ETFs got announced and they started trading, BTC saw a downtrend. And so I don't really think that is a factor that you have to look at when you're trading. When it comes to a day trading, you have to factor in, you have all these trends that have been there for the last 3, 4, 5 years. ETF ka trend you can't factor in because it's only been a year. We've had this discussion last time also. You can't really see what effect this has had on the market itself, right? वो हमें पता चलेगा maybe 2 years down the line or 3 years down the line कि okay, BTC का ETF ने पिछले 2 साल में या 3 साल में इतना इफेक्ट किया है, तो maybe ETH ETF and Solana ETF or XRP ETF would probably work in the same way. We don't know that as yet.
But तेरे ETH और ETH ETF तो चलो आ ही गया. Soul ETF और XRP ETF का भी मैं सुन रहा था कि बीच में they were like किसी
So there
$50 million
Soul and
तो
XRP ETF का I think future ETF चल रहा है already. Spot ETF नहीं है, ठीक है?
नहीं है.
Spot का approval चल रहा है.
Spot का approvals are the ones that are pending, and the futures or leverage ETFs जो हैं, they haven't had volumes enough to really move the market that way. So they haven't really affected the market as such. So Solana, your altcoins basically, including ETH as well. ETH maybe ETF, it hasn't really done anything to it. ETH, if it had to do it, I would have done it earlier, right? ETH का भी ये जो recently tariff के बाद जब 1300 पे आ गया था ETH, right? ETFs were still happening. They were there, and if you remember, it wasn't just outflows. There were massive inflows in ETH while ETH was going down, right? And we see that most often. Okay, whenever when the ETH price or BTC price is going down, you see a massive inflow because people end up buying during those times rather than offloading.
Correct.
Right. So that is something that you have to look at as well.
Yeah.
सबका रेफरेंस वो 21 का होगा, लाइक 4300 पे होना चाहिए था और अभी इतने पे.
ऑलराइट, आई थिंक आज के लिए काफी डिस्कशन हो गया. दिस इज नॉट फाइनेंशियल एडवाइस गाइस.
Oh yeah, please.
Yeah,
Please,
please do not do what I do.
yes.
Yeah.
We're
Don't
very,
you dare follow us.
don't you dare follow us. बस like, comment, subscribe and ring the bell icon.
Ring. Yes.
बाकी सब कर लो.
बाकी सब कर लो, बस फाइनेंशियल एडवाइस मत लेना.
सीख लो हमसे कि हम क्या
सीख लो.
करते हैं मार्केट के बारे में, जान
गलतियों
लो.
से सीखो.
ट्रेडिंग हमारे हिसाब से नहीं करना भाई.
ये बाल
ठीक
ऐसे ही
है.
नहीं गए हो.
Okay, all right.
All right,
Adios, guys.
see you guys.
Alright,
Peace out.
adios.